I'm sorry, I was gonna wait to post another video, but then I heard about Nick Wright and his on First Things First, whining some more about how LeBron James has a terrible roster around him, even though he plays with Anthony Davis. And I heard a little bit of this video, and it's so stupid, and we have to go through it. So let's go. Nick Wright, let it wash over me. Let's start. Nick Wright, go.
That's what they said.
Well, all right, so here's my frustration. Yes, of course, LeBron is not what he once was. Rather than have the Jordan LeBron debate, what he once was inarguably one of the two greatest players ever, with one of the two greatest peaks ever. What do you
Oh, because you're taking Jordan out of it.
No.
You're saying Kareem.
No. I'm saying no.
Okay.
I said I don't want to argue Jordan right now. So just comparing his current to his previous standard, which was a standard only one or two other guys in the history of the league had reached, is to me it's being a victim of your own greatness. Mm-hmm. What is so frustrating to me is I don't agree with Brew on this point though. That this level LeBron is not good enough to be the best player and a champion. I think he is. I think that if this level LeBron had what I would consider truly great late in your career season we've seen from a guy not named LeBron, Duncan, in 2013 when he was first team All-NBA. People forget that. First team All-NBA. Duncan was still the best player on that team that made it to Game 7 of the NBA Finals that LeBron beat him in. The Ray Allen year.
Right.
And LeBron's better than Duncan was at that point, even though Duncan was first team All-NBA. Look up the numbers.
The numbers, of course. But his numbers never rivaled.
No, of course.
He was a
great
defender.
He was a great defender, one of the best in the league. But what he had was the perfect cast around him. And LeBron is the worst possible cast around him.
Does LeBron really have that bad a roster around him? Let's look. I mean, he has Anthony Davis. He plays with Anthony Davis, who's a top 25 player, maybe even top 10 player. And he has Russell Westbrook. Two of them are top all 75. Is his roster that bad around him, or it's just they're not playing very well and they don't play very well together? Is there a tiny bit of this LeBron's fault, you think, maybe? Or is it just all just the roster? He makes it sound like LeBron's playing with a bunch of G Leaguers.
I think so. What's frustrating to me is that Kevin O'Connor, our friend, used to always tweet, and sometimes still does, don't take LeBron for granted. Everyone's taking him for granted. Last night, he did something no one had ever done. Broke a Jordan record. I said it before the show that he was going to do it. Nobody even cares. It doesn't even register. And it is frustrating because it's one thing if you're an all-time great who is now just a lesser version of yourself, but still occasionally has the good night. Yeah. I had him in the top 10 on the pyramid, and nobody here really disagreed with it. Wilds wanted Zion at some point to jump over him, but the fact that that is happening and the Lakers can't compete is so maddening and such an indictment and such a wasted opportunity for what should be another opportunity for us to see what would he look like in the playoffs.
He's got Anthony Davis.
But he doesn't right now.
I know, but he's playing.
They got someone pushed back on him a little bit on this. That he has no talent around him whatsoever. Thank God that someone actually reminds him.
25 games with Anthony Davis this year, or at least Anthony's been there for 25 games. I mean, look, and you know I love LeBron, but I just sometimes get tired of the let's get him more help, let's get him more. It's always about let's get him more, let's get him more, let's get him more. If he was still good enough to be the number one guy on a contending team, then that wouldn't be the storyline. I get it, he's not a fit, but Russell Westbrook's there, and he's coming off the bench.
But Russ didn't play, and the write-up on the article is like shorthanded Lakers. No Anthony Davis, no Russell Westbrook, no Austin Reeves. I'm like, really? That's where we're at?
No, that's the thing.
Is Austin Reeves like getting you tripped up there? Austin Reeves is not that bad of a player, but is his name in there confusing you guys? Yeah, no Russell Westbrook, no Anthony Davis, both top 75 players. You see the record Lakers have with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook and LeBron all healthy? It's not great.
That's the point that I'm making. Like, is right now Embiid is better than LeBron. I'm not. Just follow me here for a moment. But if LeBron and Embiid switched places, and LeBron was on that Sixers team, he would be the best player, and they would be contenders. And because Daryl has surrounded that team with good fit role players, and even if Harden was out for a month, they would be able to survive. And it is so
Philadelphia's on fire right now.
Frustrating that these are the guys. Any of these years could be LeBron's last great year.
No, but
And it's not about getting him more help. It's about getting him a league average supporting cast.
he shouldn't have asked to have Russ on the team.
Okay, but
I mean, it's a little bit of like, that's what he wanted.
Wild. If I asked the bosses, it's like, hey, let's add. I shouldn't name a name. It doesn't matter. Just let's add someone to the show. And everyone around him was like, oh boy, don't think that's gonna work. And then they went through and did it. Yes, I own some of the culpability, but that's their job. And by the way,
What an amazing point. What an amazing point. It's not my fault. I suggested it, but it's not my fault it doesn't work out. Let me just add that Nick Wright also said they'd be perfect, and that move made them strong, overwhelming favorites in the West. So he was wrong too about that.
the Russ thing could have been moved on from at any point in the last 9 months, and they haven't done
And
it.
Russ isn't their biggest
And Russ
problem.
isn't their biggest problem, but the other moves they've made haven't worked. They went into another year without shooting. It's
Fox thought it was goaltending.